Hello, I'm going to be reading Betty and the Mysterious Visitor, written by Anne Twist and illustrated by Emily Sutton. This book is about a strange visitor coming into a grandmother's garden and eating some of the vegetables and fruits in the garden. Keep a close eye to the small little creatures and details within the story. You never know what you're going to see. Betty loved visiting her grandma each summer. Grandma lived in the village of Wobbly Bottom, at the end of a row of cottages in a little house called Gable End. What animals do you see in this picture? I see a cat, a dog, birds, At the bottom of Grandma's garden backyard was a little gate that led to Acorn Hollows, a huge garden shared by all the cottages. Acorn Hollows had trees of all shapes and sizes, wildflowers that danced and bloomed, and the greenest grass you ever seen. In the center of the garden stood an oak tree where Betty loved to swing. From there, she could see the comings and goings of all the creatures that lived in the garden. What animals and creatures do you see in this picture? I see a ladybug, a dragonfly, more birds, and a cute little caterpillar. Acorn Hollows was Betty's favorite place in the whole world. She loved the garden, nature all around, bright with every color, alive with every sound. Grandma grew raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries, gooseberries, and well as flowers. Betty helped pick the fruits and cook them up to make delicious jams to sell in the market. One summer morning, Betty awoke feeling excited. It was market day. She looked out the window. The grass was a mess, a higgle and puff. What once had been smooth was now muddy and roughed. How had this happened? "Grandma, come quick! Somebody ruined our garden!" she called. "Oh no!" said Grandma. "I don't know who did this, but we don't have time to find out now. We must go or we'll be late for the market." With a show of hands, what do you see happening in this picture? I see a lady pushing a stroller with a baby pointing to all the different types of cheese. I see a woman with a dog and a little girl and boy looking at all the fruits. I see, it seems, two siblings sharing a cookie together with a friend. The market was busy, busy, busy. Everyone wanted to go buy Grandma's jams. By tea time, the very last jar was gone, and Betty and Grandma packed up all their stall. As they left the market, Betty remembered the garden and felt sad. She was determined to find out who had tried to destroy the hollows. That night, she peered out her bedroom window. The garden looked magical in the moonlight. She watched the bobtail of a rabbit hopping across the grass. Then she saw a movement in the bushes. A large creature was pushing its nose under the fence. Betty couldn't believe her eyes. Then the move went behind the cloud and it reappeared and the creature was gone. Does anybody know who this creature could be? Could it be the birds? Could it be the bunnies? Or could it be neither of them? Anybody see in this picture of who it could be? The next morning, Betty raced to tell Grandma. Grandma, I saw a strange creature in the garden last night. It had a striped head. What could have it been? Grandma looks confused. That sounds like a badger, said Grandma. Once they find a place to dig for food, they come back again and again. What will happen to our garden? Grandma was right about the badger. Over the next few nights, the badger destroyed more and more of the garden. It snuffled and sniffled and scurried along, searching for treats that were tasty and strong. It dug and it scratched and it tore the grass. Betty worried more and more as the day passed. What would happen if the badger got into the fruit cage? They wouldn't be able to make jam. What could she do? She had an idea. What are your ideas that you could do? The very next day, Betty got up early to set to work. She got busy with sticks and with strings, and she tied them together to make a new thing. She gave it a hat, and it looked like a head, and an old pair of rain boots from under her bed. What do you think she's making here? A jacket that no longer fit her at all, a skirt that was torn, she once had a fall, mittens to make big hands, and bowled a scarf around its neck, and to keep out the cold. I wonder what she's building. Do we have any more ideas? The finishing touches were ready to go. A pinwheel that whirled in the wind to and fro, and some bells that she used for musical play, and a little bright light that would twinkle all day. Finally, she found some nuts and seeds and laid a trail along the fence. Let's hope my plan works, she thought. Why do you think she's making a trail? That night, Betty was too excited to sleep. She sat by the window and watched. Soon she saw the bushes start moving and the badger push its way under the fence. Then it stopped, eyes wide with shock. What was this monster? The wind whistled around it. The monster spun and it shook. The badger was scared. The monster flashed. It giggled and jangled and loomed. And the big gust of wind in it suddenly boomed. Uh-oh, he doesn't look too happy. It was a scarecrow. Scarecrow. I think her plan worked. The badger turned away from the monster, and for a moment it looked straight at Betty. She held her breath, and the badger suddenly scuttled and hurried away back to its den in its safe little place. Betty's plan had worked. The monster had scared the badger away. The next morning, Betty told Grandma the whole story. The badger looked right at me, she said. I think it was saying goodbye. Oh, Betty, that's wonderful, said Grandma. As soon as the new field of beautiful flowers will grow, all thanks to you. We must celebrate, she continued, with a nice cup of hot chocolate in the garden. Then we must make some more jam, as we've run out completely. I love that, Grandma, said Betty. And that's just what they did. The end.